What it do, everybody? It's your boy LOG from Where There's Smoke. Here tonight with another live stream. We're gonna go over the plane crash that happened. I heard about it yesterday morning, but I guess that technically happened late on the 29th in DC. And then I believe sometime today there was a plane crash in Philadelphia. So that's kind of weird. And in between the two, Trump signed some legislation on aviation, and that's kind of weird to me that he had it just ready to go, uh, or maybe he just is that quick on the draw. But either way, that's kind of weird to me, and we'll talk about it. And then, we're gonna talk about, even though I haven't watched it near as much as I would like to, so I'm not as up on the NBA. We're gonna kind of talk about the NBA All-Star snubs. There's a couple people talking about that, reacting to certain people that didn't make it, like Lamelo. I think Trey Young and Kyrie was another name. So we'll kind of talk about that. See what y'all thought about, who did make the All-Star, who didn't, and then at the end we might have a video on Trump, or at least his press secretary talking about drones. So, hold on. I'm gonna make sure we're live streaming on all three platforms: Rumble, Kick, and YouTube, and then we'll get into it. Give me about a minute.
It's that Centex boys, and we're out here, and we got something to say. Man, what the fuck is going on with the world nowadays? People going crazy over little things. Another day. Another day I gotta go ahead and do something I wanna do. Ain't no one wanna do it for me. This world can be so lonely. To the top, looking back at all the lives that were lost on the way. Another day, just to pray, forget the pain. What the fuck is up with the world nowadays? People going crazy over little things. Is it even Sunday? Jesus saves. Thank God I'm blessed to see another day. Gotta go ahead and do something I wanna do. Ain't no one wanna do it for me. This world can be so lonely. To the top, looking back at all the lives that were lost on the way. Another day, just to pray, forget the pain. What the fuck is up with the world nowadays? People going crazy over little things. Is it even Sunday? Jesus saves. Thank God I'm blessed to see another day. Never know when you're gonna lose your life someday.
Alrighty, thank y'all for being patient, and just want to check out the streams real quick. Let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. This is actually the last video that I might play at the end that I was telling y'all about, but let's get into the plane stuff. So if you're behind, or you just haven't heard or what have you, we'll kind of play this initial reaction. Wait, this is the new one. Ooh, never mind. Let's go to this one. Okay. This is the one that happened 2 days ago, I believe late on the 29th. So let's go ahead and watch. I almost want another. Here's another one. I kind of want like a very initial news story just to watch with y'all real quick before we get into any kind of deeper dives. I don't think we need the ear in there. Here we go.
WTT. Been listening right now to WTTG. We're now taking over to show you this. This is video from the Kennedy Center camera, and you see that explosion.
Boy, this footage is not very clear.
Right there. That is the moment.
Oh, damn. Let's go back.
Listening right now to WTTG. We're now taking over to show you this. This is video from the Kennedy Center camera, and you see that explosion right there. That is the moment when this small plane
I'm blocking it with my face.
apparently crashed into a helicopter. You see a fireball, and then, Marla, we see that plane head down towards the Potomac River.
Oh, what an image there. And according to
That's crazy.
our sister station in D.C., WTTG, that in fact is confirmed that a small aircraft collided with a helicopter. They were here.
I'm going to see if y'all can see it when the screen gets clear. Yeah, y'all are getting a pretty good view of it.
Hearing that it is not a D.C. police helicopter, and colleagues on the ground say that several people were saying that it was a military helicopter. That information is not confirmed, but according to our sister station in D.C., Fox 5 there, they have confirmed that it is a helicopter and a small aircraft that has collided. Again, this is courtesy of...
That's crazy. Okay, let's see. I like how it's recommended my live stream to me. I guess with that being said, I need to start uploading thumbnails. But I would assume it would show me live. Anyway, that's interesting. Let's get kind of an initial news report on it. They got 67 people dead from this.
Pass 25, get the CRJ in flight. Pass 25, pass behind the CRJ. Lucy for 347, go around, climb, maintain 3000, flight path.
A deadly air disaster has taken place in the United States, right in the middle of the capital, Washington, D.C. Two
How crazy is that, right? In our capital.
aircraft collided last night, just about 5 kilometers south of the White House. One was a passenger plane.
Damn, I mean, you would think that is like the safest airspace in like the country, even though it's some of the most crowded. Like, how are we supposed to protect our president if there's all these people flying over and they can just crash into each other at any time? It's like, no, this is not building much confidence.
Second was a U.S. military Sikorsky.
And my first thought, or not my first thought, but one of my first thoughts was, what about all these freaking drones that are going around? They never crash into anything. We're going to hear about that, I guess, somewhat at the end of this live if we get to the Trump press secretary talking about it. But yeah, one of my initial thoughts when I heard about this was, what about all the drones that are flying around? How come none of those crash into planes or helicopters or each other? It's interesting. Give me a second. I feel like I hear someone honking outside. Give me like 10 seconds. I guess it was a little farther away than I thought. I guess thought someone was outside trying to get real wicked looking at us. Okay, let's get back into this.
H-60 helicopter, better known as a Black Hawk. The crash took place just beside the Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport. Take a look at this.
Yeah, we can do 33 for Blue 6342.
Proceed for 342, that's a Wilson Bridge, thanks for change the curve, runway 33, runway 33, clear to land. Tower, did you see that? 472, American 3130, go around, turn left in 250, climb, maintain 3000. Black Check 3, can you...
There were 64 people on board the passenger jet. It was a PSA Airlines flight from Wichita, Kansas to Washington, D.C. The journey was almost over. The plane was just about to land. That's when disaster struck. Now let's look at how this unfolded step by step. You can see that the signal was lost meters away from the airport. The plane was approaching the Reagan Airport. It was cleared for landing.
Yeah, we can do 33 for Blue 6342.
Proceed for 342, that's a Wilson Bridge, thanks for change the curve, runway 33, runway 33, clear to land.
That was the air traffic control tower at the airport, giving the flight permission to land. It was making its way to runway 33. This
Of
runway,
course it was. Of course it was runway 33. Ha ha ha. Oh, isn't that beautiful?
At an angle with the Potomac River.
With an angle, what?
But just before the plane landed,
We got closed captions on that?
ATC sent out an alert, ATC 3. This runway at an angle with the Potomac River.
What the hell does that mean? Oh, with the Potomac River. Okay.
But just before the plane landed, ATC sent out an alert. ATC, of course, is the air traffic control. This was their warning.
Pass 25, this is CRJ in flight. Pass 25, pass line is CRJ.
Ooh.
That message was for a U.S. military Black Hawk helicopter. PAT-25 was the chopper's call sign. The Black Hawk was conducting a nighttime drill. It was seen flying towards the PSA jet. So ATC asked the Black Hawk to pass behind it. This is what showed on the radar of the air
Damn, too little too late there, Sonny.
traffic controller.
Oh, wow, you can see them collide on there. That's crazy. Damn, that thing showed everything on that little radar they have.
You can clearly see the airport runways in the triangle pattern. The passenger plane had the call sign CRJ7. It was turning into the designated runway, which is runway
Y'all gotta be quicker on the trigger with that kind of shit.
3. But for some reason, the helicopter
No, I mean, not really a pun, but no, you know, no pun intended, I guess, for lack of a better phrasing that I can think of right now. But it's like, dude, y'all gotta be quicker.
turned in the same direction. It ended up in front of the passenger plane, leading to a mid-air collision. There was an explosion. Then both aircraft fell into the Potomac River. Emergency services were alerted immediately.
2048, we received an alert from the FAA tower of an aircraft incident involving a commercial aircraft and a helicopter. Our units immediately responded and deployed 3 boats and immediately called for mutual aid resources.
Search and rescue teams were mobilized immediately. Helicopters were providing searchlights from above. Divers were deployed on boats, but they faced an uphill task because the water was near freezing. Remember, this is Washington, D.C., the same place where Donald Trump was inaugurated just 10 days ago. He had to be inaugurated indoors because of the cold. The Potomac River is no exception. It has been oscillating between ice cold and frozen solid for days. And that drastically brings down the possibility of survivors. There were 64 people on board the PSA flight, 60 passengers and 4 crew members. The Black Hawk, the military helicopter, had 3 military personnel on board, so 67 people in total. 2 of them were Russian.
I'm surprised they didn't just make it a clean 66. What was the 33 that they said earlier? Was that the runway? We're at 501 if we want to come back. Yeah, runway 33. 3 military personnel. Total of 67 people. It's wild.
Figure skater.
What if one person survives? And they're the Antichrist. No. That would be crazy as fuck. No, it's interesting here. What's, you know, don't mean to make light of it, but, you know.
Evgenia Shishkova and Vadim Naumov. They were a married couple. They won the 1994 World Figure Skating Championship. They were on board the PSA Airlines flight, along with other Russian citizens. The Kremlin has confirmed their deaths.
Unfortunately, we see that this sad information is being confirmed. There were also our fellow citizens. Bad news from Washington today. We are sorry, and we express our condolences to the families and relatives of Russian citizens who lost their lives in this mid-air tragedy. No plans for high-level contacts.
About 30 bodies have been recovered so far. The operation is still ongoing, but officials say that no survivors are expected. Emergency services are also looking for the black boxes from the aircraft so that they can determine what exactly happened. U.S. President Donald Trump is demanding answers. He put out this post last night questioning the
Yeah, why didn't the helicopter go up or down or turn? I mean, yeah, that's what everyone's wondering, though, right? Why didn't the control tower tell the helicopter what to do instead of asking if they saw the plane? This is a bad situation that looks like it could have been prevented. Not good. The beginning of the tweet says the airplane was on a perfect and routine line of approach to the airport. The helicopter was going straight at the plane for an extended period of time. It is a clear night. The lights on the plane were blazing. Why didn't the helicopter go up or down or turn? Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's just saying the super obvious thing.
conduct of the helicopter. He believes the collision should have been prevented. But we'll have to wait a while for the official inquiry.
We'll have to wait a while. I think that, man, that's why Trump resonates with so many people, because we're all tired of waiting. We're tired of the bureaucracy. Can't even say the word now. We're the bureaucracy. We're tired of all the politics. We're tired of all the bullshit, even though I think he's tied in with them. But that's why he sends this message, which I think is essentially a lie. Well, I really can't talk tonight. And then a lot of people buy it. But anyway, it resonates because it's like, why would we have to wait a while? We want to know now. Now. We don't want to wait. I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of all the bureaucracy. I'm tired of all the bullshit. I'm tired of all the fancy official, well, it's going to take a while. Just shut the fuck up and figure it out. Like, yeah, I think we're all tired of just what I said. And, you know, that's why some of Trump's directness and rashness kind of resonates with a lot of people.
To finish, we will be tracking this story for you as it unfolds.
All right, that's enough for this one. Let's move on to, what is this? Yeah, this is another angle, which it's only like a 54-second, so about a minute video that shows a clearer, better angle, I believe.
An airline's plane can be seen flying towards the airport before the two collide, causing a
similar angle, but much closer and clearer. Let's go back. Make sure it's HD.
The American Airlines plane can be seen flying towards the airport before the two collide, causing a mid-air explosion. And after the collision and subsequent explosion, the airliner can be seen spinning into the water, and the Black Hawk is also seen falling into the water.
I'll go back. Investigators are studying the evidence to determine what led to the fatal crash. I mean, come on. Including 2 black boxes have been recovered. Yeah, that's terrible wording. Including 2 black boxes that have been recovered from the plane and are at the NTSB labs for evaluation, the National Transportation Safety Board said. I'm not sure exactly what those black boxes do. I remember years and years ago, well, probably between like 7 to 10 years ago, there was a plane that I want to say it was in 2014, but I could be totally off there. It was a plane that crashed somewhere around like Indonesia and that Southeast Asia, but like in the ocean part. And there was this big thing about black box to see what happened. So, but I'm not sure exactly what's in there. I think it's like recordings of the pilot's audio and maybe something else, coordinates or something. I'm not sure. The new video comes after Alan Armstrong, an aviation attorney, told CNN's Abby Phillip that the pilots involved likely had no warning of the impending disaster. How would they not have any warning? Citing the limitations of collision avoidance systems at low altitudes and the changing of night vision. And challenges, of night vision. The limitations of collision avoidance systems at low altitudes. and the challenges of night vision. Well, helicopters can maneuver the same no matter what altitude they're at, right? That just sounds like a lame excuse. Hmm. 67 people were killed in the crash. Huh. Oh, shit.
Fox News.
Oh, well, this is what I was going to cover anyway, but I don't really want to watch this whole thing. Well, let's watch this first, and then we'll move on to maybe these other two videos of the Philly thing. This is like a explanation video. I haven't watched it yet, so let's watch it together. This is still on the first crash that happened in DC 2 nights ago, by the way.
End up in a tragic crash while the plane was attempting to land on runway 33. In the videos ahead, we'll take a closer look at the final hours leading up to the crash. The confusion.
I know we're just watching a lot of news right now. I haven't given much like a commentary or like my opinion. I just really don't know what to think about this much. Like I said, kind of towards the beginning, I think it's crazy this hasn't happened with like any drones yet with all those sightings. We'll kind of get into that towards the end of the stream, but yeah, maybe we'll hear some more about it and then I'll give my opinion. But yeah, it's just unfortunate. It's like really surprising. Like this stuff almost never happens. So it's like for all this to happen right around the beginning of the year when Trump's been put in office, like within 2 weeks ago, and everything's just been real ramped up and somewhat chaotic with him in, and then this happens, and then there's a second plane crash only 2 days later. It's just kind of weird. But let's watch the rest of this video and the other couple ones, and then maybe I'll have some other thoughts that kind of come up based on more details.
Between the PAP-25 VIP military helicopter and the air traffic controller, and how the rescue operation is being carried out. More details all in the video ahead. The plane had departed from Wichita Dwight D. Eisenhower National Airport in Kansas earlier that evening. A PSA Airlines aircraft operated under American Airlines.
That was a misleading representation of the past flight, was it not, based on what we saw earlier?
And identified as Flight AA5342 collided midair with a military Black Hawk helicopter at approximately 9 p.m. on Wednesday, January 29, 2025. The tragic incident occurred as the plane was making its final approach toward Reagan.
Dude, especially as a helicopter pilot that's in the what is it, the Army, the military, obviously, but they haven't said what branch. They just said military helicopter now that I'm thinking of it. If you're in a military helicopter, you have got to be super fucking cautious going towards the airports. Like, what do you just blah, 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 blah? I mean, wake the fuck up, dude. I think that's some of what Trump's saying. This seems like it could have been prevented. Like, he's just saying what any logical person would say. And that's, like I said earlier, that's why a lot of people resonate with him. But it's like, dude, like, what were you doing if you're the military guy? Like, what the fuck were you thinking? You're how close are you to an airport? Like, maybe they'll reveal that here. But like when you are within such and such feet or miles of an airport, you got to be on high alert there, bud. I mean, you're in DC, like when you're in those metropolitan areas, especially, there's airports everywhere, and like you gotta be. But yeah, it's just, I don't know.
In Washington National Airport in Arlington, Virginia, American Airlines
They haven't let us know who any. Well, did they? They just said I wasn't even paying attention to the other video, to be honest.
Confirmed that 64 people were aboard the jet, 60 passengers and 4 crew members, while 3 soldiers were aboard the military helicopter. This plane's radio transponder stopped transmitting about 2,400 feet, which is around 730 meters short of the runway, roughly over the middle of the river.
How close? How far is 730 meters? That's like a half a mile.
This has marked the first major U.S. commercial crash in more than 15 years. From an aerial perspective, it is evident that Flight
See, my point is, if you're within a mile, half a mile as a pilot, you gotta know what like the helicopter guy, you gotta know you're by an airport, bro.
A5342 was approaching the airport from the south, descending over the scenic Potomac River. This area is known for its proximity to several iconic landmarks, such as the Pentagon, located nearby in Pentagon City. To the north, one can spot the striking dome of the United States Capitol building, a symbol of American democracy.
Yeah, that's what it symbolizes.
The Potomac River, which encircles the airport and much of Arlington, serves as a natural boundary and offers breathtaking views for arriving flights. However, this area is also densely trafficked, both by air and on the ground, adding to the complexity of air traffic management in the region. American Airlines Flight 5342, which we'll refer to as the landing flight, was on its final approach to runway 33. At this stage, called short final, the aircraft was mere moments from landing, flying at an altitude of about 400 feet. This is the most critical phase of landing, where every second counts and pilots are laser-focused on safely bringing the plane down. At the same time, an Army Black Hawk helicopter, identified as PAC-25, was reportedly on a possible training
So it was the Army.
flight. It was flying perpendicular to the flight path
You fucking dumbass.
of Flight 5342, following the course of the Potomac River. The Potomac River is a designated flight corridor for helicopters, and it's common to see aircraft like this operating in the area. The key difference between the two aircraft in this scenario was their operating rules. The Black Hawk helicopter, PAC-25, was flying under visual flight rules. This means it was required to rely on visual observation of its surroundings to avoid other aircraft. The landing flight
Why?
5342 was operating under instrument flight rules, which give it priority over VFR flights in controlled airspace. This system assumes that VFR aircraft will actively maintain visual separation to avoid conflicts. Moments before the collision, the air traffic control tower at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport called PAC-25 to confirm whether they had the other aircraft in sight. PAC-25 responded that they did. At first glance,
What?
this seems like an acknowledgement that they were aware of Flight 5342's presence and were taking steps to avoid it. However, it now seems likely that PAC-25 had mistakenly identified a different aircraft, possibly a departing flight from the same airport, and believed that was the other aircraft referred to by the tower.
Oh no.
Tragically, PAC-25 may not have realized that Flight 5342 was descending directly into its path. This misidentification could have led to the Black Hawk failing to adjust its course in time to avoid a collision. Although I'm not a pilot, this is what appears to have happened based on the available information. It's a heartbreaking incident that raises questions about how such misunderstandings can occur and what safety measures can prevent them in the future. If you have more insight or expertise, please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments.
It just seems like the helicopter guy would have been able to like avoid that somehow, bro. Like, wow.
The passenger plane broke into multiple pieces and sank several feet into the river. Meanwhile, the helicopter ended up landing upside down on the water. Regarding the rescue mission, the main challenge is access. The water they're working in is about 8 feet deep, which is roughly 2.5.
Well, that's it? What? I guess that makes sense for a river. But they said it was cold as balls.
Meters. On top of that, the conditions are tough. There's strong wind, chunks of ice floating around, which obstructs rescue workers. We also have audio from air traffic control that has been published online, capturing the moments as the two aircraft approach each other. In the recording, we can hear a conversation. It appears to involve the air traffic controller, with P standing for priority air transport, the helicopter, and CRJ referring to the passenger plane. The response seems to come from the helicopter, but something goes terribly wrong. The two aircraft continue to move closer to each other until they crash, and there was no response from the other side. This long shot video recorded by the Kennedy Center cam seems to show two aircraft, a helicopter and a commercial airliner colliding, creating a huge flash. If you take a close-up shot, you can clearly see the Black Hawk helicopter traveling at an alarmingly high speed directly towards the plane, a moment of impending danger captured in stark detail. According to reports, the situation unfolded due to apparent confusion on the part of the Black Hawk pilot. He was seemingly unaware of the presence of a second aircraft in the vicinity, which ultimately led to a critical misjudgment. When the flight controller radioed in, asking if the pilot had identified Flight 5342, the pilot confidently confirmed that he had visual contact. However, the plane he was referring to wasn't Flight 5342, it was a completely different aircraft flying above his position.
Shit.
This misidentification proved costly. The pilot, certain he was operating safely, continued his course. Tragically, he ended up flying directly into the path of an oncoming aircraft. The sequence of events highlights the immense complexity and risks of aviation, where even small communication errors or lapses in situational awareness can lead to dangerous, life-threatening outcomes. Let's take a look at a different case scenario of a Jeju Air Flight 2216. This South Korean airline was granted permission to land from the south on runway 1 northward. But control tower cautions against bird activity, so the aircraft made a slight deviation in flight path. The pilot declares Mayday after it hit a couple of birds, and it was instructed to make a go-around and land on runway 19 southward. It was at this moment the airplane encountered another problem with the landing gear, which did not open.
Oh no.
Finally, the plane had to make a belly landing with what was supposedly a landing gear failure because it hit in the middle of the runway and crashed into the elevated local Lizer antenna and concrete, erupting into a huge fireball, while the tail section remained intact.
The hell?
Morning 8:57. A TC broadcast.
Alright, I don't need all this other examples and stuff. Kind of crooked though. You would definitely think the helicopter guy would have been able to avoid it. So that's the DC crash. Now, we will catch up on it because I have not heard or seen anything about this except for the thumbnail on YouTube. There was a Philadelphia crash, I'm assuming today, 3 hours ago. Let's catch up on this together, and then I'll give my thoughts on the DC one. I don't really know. It's kind of strange. But I'll give my thoughts on this one, and then we'll talk about the fact that both of them happened within like 2 days of each other. And in between the two, Trump signed legislation that I don't really know. It doesn't. It seems like he's focusing on DEI still, which I don't know how that's gonna. Like, I kind of get it, but I don't really get how that's gonna help like aviation safety in the future and how that could have prevented this. But let's. Do I have? Yeah, I have that. So, yeah, that's kind of weird. Let's play this, and we'll see what we think about both crashes being within the like within 48. Well, yeah, within 48 hours of each other, and then between the two, Trump signing legislation on this.
Breaking news there in the city of brotherly love. I want to put this tweet up from our colleague there at Fox 29, reporter Chris O'Connell. He says there have been several reports of a plane crash into a building in northeast Philadelphia. Fox 29 Philadelphia have been covering this story within the last few minutes. They are sending reporters to the scene. I believe some of those reporters are on the scene as well here. You can see Steve Keeley shooting this video from his cell phone. He says bulletin airplane crash there on Roosevelt Boulevard. He says fires burning in multiple spots on Cotman Avenue. He says pieces of airplane scattered there on the ground. Jason Martinez with this video saying this is being described as a plane crash in the area of Bustleton and Cotman Avenues in northeast Philly. That's a doorbell camera provided by a viewer there to Fox 29. Let's take it full here. Look at that. And you see the nighttime sky light up in orange. Wow.
Whoa.
In the meantime here, Fox 29 in Philadelphia is in breaking news coverage of this. Let's listen.
This is Jason Martinez here in the Fox 29 newsroom. You are looking at what's being described as a plane crash in northeast Philadelphia. This is doorbell camera provided by a viewer. Left of your screen, you saw the fireball come out of the sky. Again, this is being described to us as a plane crash northeast Philadelphia in the area of Bustleton and Cotman Avenues. You saw the left of your screen, the fireball come right out. Take another closer look. There.
No shit.
And so this just happening here in the last Bustleton and Cotman Avenues. You saw the left of your screen, the fireball come right out. Take another closer look. There.
There.
And so this just happened
towards the ground. Something really bad
happening here in the last 20 minutes or so. Again, Northeast Philadelphia. I believe we have Steve Keeley in the area on the phone. Steve, what can you tell us? Do we have Steve? We do not appear to have Steve at the moment. As soon as we get him, we'll bring it to you.
We have
but
Steve.
Again, viewer-provided video from a doorbell camera in Northeast Philadelphia.
Yeah, that plane was going down
showing
quick,
a fireball fall out of the sky. Of course, the Northeast Philly airport. Just
a huge explosion.
Less than a mile away from this location. And so a lot of viewers have been calling our newsroom and telling us that they believe this was a plane crash in this area of Bustleton and Cottman. But this doorbell camera video makes you question exactly what we're seeing. Here's a closer look.
Shit, that doesn't look like a fucking plane, brother.
Look.
Let's go back. That was wild.
This was a plane crash in this area of Bustleton and Cottman, but this doorbell camera video makes you...
Let's mute this guy and put it on like a slower speed. Let's make sure we got quality as high as we can. 720. Come on. Come on. Give him the Steph Curry. Bro, if that's a plane, it was moving fast as fuck. And something was bad wrong with it in the air.
Like falls out of the sky. And again, this is Roosevelt Mall, I believe, the parking lot in Northeast Philly. And this is ground video that we're just getting in. You're seeing it as I am seeing it. Police taping the area off, smoke and debris in this area. And this, of course, all happening as we are still sorting through a plane crash that happened in D.C.
Why is there a fence up already? They got a fence up? That quickly?
No word on the size of the plane that crashed, what caused it. We are just learning this. There's some...
Stay back here. I'm gonna...
okay, now we have Steve. Steve, if you can hear me, what can you tell us?
Jason, I was just warned. I'm fairly close. I was nearby. This happened at 6 o'clock. I got it confirmed by 6:13 and 6:14. And then a top commander in the department told me his house shook. He called the bomb squad, and they told him a plane had crashed. Then lots of calls came in. I was nearby. I saw everybody racing over here. I raced with them. I'm looking at two fires going right now on Cottman Avenue. I'm standing in one of the driveways to the Roosevelt Mall. As I ran over here, I parked in the McDonald's at Cottman and the Boulevard. I wondered what I was tripping over, and it was pieces of an airplane scattered in the mall parking lot. They then began roping that off, and the heavy smell of jet fuel is in the air and has been in the air. There is still black smoke. The fires are not under control, and then an officer just told me to take cover behind the police and fire vehicle I'm there because there's a gas line nearby. Another commander told me cars were on fire. This was in rush hour. I know it because I was just on Cottman Avenue seconds before this, approaching the Boulevard when this plane crashed. So it was wall-to-wall cars approaching Cottman and the Boulevard, so people were stopped in traffic. Damn. I don't know if cars are on fire in front of me or parts of the plane, but it looks like multiple fires, and the fires are not right next to each other. They're a good 100 yards from each other. So there is a string of damage and a string of fires. This mall is under some kind of construction, so they have a tarp around about a 6-foot-tall tent. Every police officer, every fire department member in the city must be up here right now, and there's still more coming on the way. There is so much smoke in the air going right over the mall right here, and this mall was packed too. They had to move all the people back for their own good, and the air quality is not good for them, but everybody was out here. Now I can see one car I'm looking through the fence, Jason. I'm looking down in front of the Dunkin' Donuts on Cottman, and again, this is right before the Boulevard. Right in front of the Dunkin' Donuts, it looks like an SUV is on fire, and the flames are all through the street.
Wow, this is crazy. And this is a good bit of eyewitness reporting, isn't it? Or just on the beat reporter or whatever you would call it, like on the scene, I guess.
There's so many fires here, and the fire department's also trying to worry about that gas line.
That sounds terrible.
In danger. Now I'm counting the fires, Jason. 1, 2, 3, 4 fires I can see right here, all
Damn.
spread out along Cotman Avenue.
I mean, that was a huge explosion. So if it caught any cars, they probably caught on fire. I mean, that was a huge explosion.
Right now.
Steve,
I can't see what's burning.
Steve, we are looking at viewer.
I want to know what the hell happened to this plane. It's shooting out of the sky like a freaking comet.
Doorbell camera.
Y'all get in the chat and let me know what y'all think. Let me check the chat. Dry as usual. But y'all let me know. What do y'all think? Any wild conspiracy theories yet of what happened with this plane?
Camera of what looks like just a fireball falling out of the sky, and as this plane hits the ground, just flames, just immense. And we see a shot now on the ground. We see looks like some cars are on fire here. You say you smell jet fuel?
Yeah, I can still smell it. There's a smell of fuel in the air, a heavy smell. And if they're reporting a fireball falling out of the sky, the parts of the airplane I saw were not burned. And again, we're near Northeast Philly Airport. It would be an unreal coincidence if there was another midair collision here. I don't know, but and I didn't see any fireball in the sky because I haven't seen that video yet. I'm only on the phone here with you. But the parts of the airplane I saw did not have any burn marks on them. And again, I'm just trampling over them. And in the first video I sent in and put on, I'm tripping over the airplane parts before I realize what I'm tripping on. And then an officer says, hey, this is a debris field here from the airplane. And that's it. So we don't know what happened. We just know that an airplane crashed here somehow. And there's parts of the airplane long before where the fires are burning. They're in the Roosevelt Mall parking lot in front of the T-Mobile store. And that is a good 200, 300, 400 yards from where I'm looking at a fire burning right now outside the driveway.
Yo, look at that explosion. It threw parts everywhere.
Of the Roosevelt Mall. So who knows what happened? I'm sure police don't know what happened. They're just trying to rescue people, and we don't know how many people were in cars here, and their lives were in danger as well. So
that's terrible. Let's see. Let's see if they have anything new on the plane crash in Philly, and then we'll get on to Trump signing the aviation orders.
Midnight host Trace Gallagher joins me now. Trace, what are you learning about this plane and the reason it went down?
A couple of things real quick, Jesse, just to kind of go over what Rich was asking there about people on the ground. Rich Zioli, we do now know that there are several reports that people on the ground were injured. In fact, saying there are several injuries on the ground. So that gives you an idea of how powerful this was when it hit the intersection. It was in the middle of the intersection, didn't necessarily hit the mall, the Roosevelt Mall, which has stores like Macy's and Ross Dress for Less and restaurants around there. It hit an intersection, and the reports are there were several injuries on the ground and row houses on fire. It's important also to note, Jesse, the weather, just so we have clarity on this. The weather at the time of the takeoff at 6:06, temperature was 49 degrees, light rain, some fog, and wind gusts of 30 miles per hour. There is nothing to indicate any trouble there. If you look now at the flight data, it shows that at 6:06 the plane took off and it disappeared from radar 30 seconds later, which is an indication that sometime between 25 and 30 seconds, something catastrophic happened, because as you look at the video, there appeared to be some type of flames, whether it was an engine, whether it was inside the plane, unclear. But before it hit the ground, there were some kind of flames. Again, we have 2 doctors, 2 pilots, a patient, and a family member. We keep hearing small plane, and it is a Learjet 55. So just so people know, it's 43 feet wide, it's 55 feet long. So it's not that small, difficult to fly. But this is also a plane owned by Jet Rescue, and people don't recognize that. To a little bit of context, the company is based in Mexico. It flew Baseball Hall of Famer David Ortiz to Boston after he was shot in the Dominican Republic back in 2019. And of course, this same company involved in transporting patients critically ill with COVID-19. One fascinating thing is that Fox 29 now reporting in Philadelphia that because it was a medical transport plane, this is interesting, that the Philadelphia police telling a reporter there outside of McDonald's at Cotman Avenue and Roosevelt Boulevard near where the plane crashed, there are pieces of the jet everywhere. But what's fascinating is a quarter of a mile away, Jesse, there is a medical oxygen tank that was found. And the speculation has been from pilots and other experts, maybe something happened. Maybe the configuration of this plane was, as you said at the top of your show, it was configured to be a flying ambulance, and there were oxygen tanks, and the possibility that one of those oxygen tanks may have leaked or exploded or something like that is now a very real possibility. And if you look at this, it was going to Springfield, Branson, Missouri, to be specific. That's the airport. And we don't know exactly how much fuel it had on, but they can carry up to 1,400 pounds. So this thing is a flying bomb, especially.
So it had just left. It had just left it had just left Philly and it was going to Missouri.
Just taking off. That's why when you see the picture on the middle of your screen there and you see that explosion, this thing could be loaded down with fuel and very dangerous and very lethal to the buildings and the people around the area of the crash scene. And of course, Sean Duffy, as you said, Jesse, has now confirmed there were in fact 6 people on board, several injuries on the ground, and the investigation is not even beginning at this point.
Yeah, you know, when they find the black box, I'm sure they'll learn a lot more.
They love that black box. How do you know it's not destroyed? Look at that explosion, my dude. The black box.
Mention this is like a jet ambulance. So if there's an emergency situation with a high value individual, a VIP, you mentioned Hall of Fame baseball player, this thing's wheels up and is going to the best surgeon in the country. Doesn't matter where they are, whether it's Boston, Missouri, Los Angeles, this thing is ready to go. And it's loaded up. You called it a flying bomb. Explain to me how, if you have all these oxygen tanks, and we don't know what other...
I mean, any plane is a flying bomb if it gets hit or something in the air, but I guess they're saying there's other things inside that could ignite more readily than a normal plane.
Gases or anything like that they had on the flight, because it's a kind of medically equipped flight. How could that have sparked an incident with the engine?
Well, it's unclear.
Well, hello, if you got gas, come on, dude.
Go ahead.
It's unclear that it is the engine, Jesse. I mean, it's unclear that this was an engine. So, I mean, there's a good possibility it was an engine. There's a good possibility it had one. The question is, what is the black box tape going to show? Because that's the flight data recorder. That would record the conversation inside the cockpit, because we have heard nothing, zero, about any contact with the tower between the time this thing went up and then it disappeared from radar. Unless they gave it a handoff at some point in 15, 20 seconds. But after that, after the explosion, after this thing lost air capacity and started twisting toward the ground, there is no word that we have heard yet there was any communication with the tower at all. An indication that the pilots were doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is to aviate, to navigate. And
yeah, something happened very suddenly and it just went wrong, all wrong. It's just so weird that there's 2 plane crashes within 2 days. And like I said, right in between them, Trump signed an aviation legislation. It's like a fun little rhyming thing, but something's not right about this. I mean, it could be a coincidence, but that's one hell of a coincidence. There's no such thing as a big coincidence and a small coincidence, just a coincidence. No, there are big coincidences and small coincidences. If you've seen Seinfeld, you know. I got the voices backwards. Halfway I realized it. Elaine, I forget, Rava, I think. Rava. Elaine was the one saying that there's big coincidences and small coincidences, and Rava was like, no, there's just coincidences. If you know Seinfeld, you definitely know what I'm talking about. But anyway, this is no small coincidence in my book. Y'all give me a second. I'm going to go get my jacket. It's getting a little cold in the house. And then we'll move on to Trump signing a little bit of legislation to hopefully prevent this, but I'm just eager to see what he says and what actually are you going to do to prevent this. Not just blame diversity, equity, inclusion, because I'm not necessarily on either side of keep that, get rid of it, oh yeah, rah, 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 but it's like, for you to keep like, what do they say? Like just hammering this nail or so. Man, I've been off with my phrases lately. But for you to just keep hammering this, I was going to say hammer on the rock, but that's like a basketball term. But for him to keep like hammering and hammering on the same topic, even when it doesn't necessarily make sense, it's making him seem like a little tone deaf. And it's like, okay, dude, like if you have something that's going to be safety-wise improvement or better communication or more money spent or whatever, but just to blame diversity, equity is kind of like lame as F. and it's like you got 3 tunes you can play, and you're just. It's like he has 3 songs on his CD, and he's back to song 1, and it's like immigration, diversity, equity, and it's like I don't know. That's what I heard so far, initial stuff, but we'll see if he has anything else that actually makes more sense. Um, yeah, give me a second. I'm gonna grab a jacket and then I'll be back. All right, thanks for your patience, everybody. Whoever's watching. Let's get back. Well, I might be almost done with this video. Excuse me.
Then to communicate. And the first thing you want to do is to try to gain control of the aircraft before you start telling people or you know, sending in a mayday of some sort. So I think the basic capacity here for investigators when they get on scene to find out, was this an engine or was this something catastrophic that happened on board the actual plane that had nothing to do with the engines, but it either maybe blew a hole in there and they lost pressure and something else happened, and
suck.
then they lost the ability to fly this plane.
You know how fucking limp you would be if something shot through the window of the plane? You're just, ah! That would suck. Balls, bro.
So it is really early and really too soon to be able to point at engines and point at anything else because
Dude, this would like be crazy to see in America.
there are so many variables, especially in a medical jet like
Just
this.
driving through Austin, imagine that, or San Antonio, or Dallas. I mean, talking about all these Texas towns because that's what resonates with me. But imagine just driving through Austin and then just, you'd be like, oh my, like it would, that would be crazy to me. It's not as crazy on the news, it still is, but to like see it in person, I'd be like, damn, what the hell happened?
That can have various equipment on board that you normally would not have aboard your regular Learjet airplane.
Yeah, it's a
I'm so kind of, I was gonna say stupid, but stupid, I guess. How far are like damn, I don't want to pull that up on the stream. I'll give you all my docs myself. Yeah, no, it's all good. This might be a stream that gets deleted after because of that. Type shit. Oh, dude, it's only an hour away driving. 93 miles, hour and 40. So under 100 miles away probably is where these two crashes happen from each other. It's crazy.
A unique aircraft. And like you said, it loses the ability to be seen on radar. Now, why does it all of a sudden disappear from radar? Is that because its transponder exploded in the explosion, or what would cause it to go off radar?
It could be a combination of things, Jesse. It either fell so fast. I mean, you look at the video there, and you know, this might have happened. The explosion might have happened at 29 seconds. They're saying that it went off radar at 30 seconds. So it took off at 6:06, and at 6:06:30, this thing went off radar, which is an indication that the explosion might have happened. And remember, it was at, and I heard you talking about this earlier, let me check, it was at 1,600 feet when this thing apparently started losing altitude. So it was at 1,600 feet. It was marked on radar, and then something happened. But at 30 seconds, it went off radar. It's not saying, and this thing didn't happen at 26 seconds or 23 seconds, and by the time it fell out of radar's reach, that was the 30 seconds. It might have been on the ground at that point. So it's really unclear exactly why it went off radar and exactly at what point in the fall it went off the radar. That's something the air traffic controllers would have to tell us. Was it a transponder issue? It's unlikely, because they would still kind of have a grasp. They would still have a sweep of it. So it's a pretty good indication that it was at a fairly low altitude when it disappeared from the radar at that point in time, unless it exploded, the transponder went out, and then the plane just went dark. So.
Okay.
Were you disappointed?
I'm gonna move this till the end when we talk about the NBA stuff. We got a video about Trump signing the aviation orders, and then we have a little bit. This video is 26 minutes. I'm probably gonna skip around just to see if there's any funny or good clips from this, where the title is "President Trump: Our country is now stronger than we've been in decades." We'll see what he has to say about that, and then we'll get to the All-Star stuff. And then at the very end, we'll talk about maybe I'll move the drone video up. We can get all the plane and political and drone stuff, and then we can do the All-Star stuff at the end. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Do y'all care if I go back and forth between the politics and other stuff, or do y'all want to just kind of get it all over with and then go with the All-Star stuff? Y'all let me know in the chat if y'all are watching. Let's see. All right, I was checking out the chat and shit real quick. Let's see. And also just checking the other streams on like Rumble and YouTube. I mean, Kick. What are y'all's thoughts, real quick, if y'all are watching along with me, about like the two crashes happening back to back? I know I keep saying that's it, but that's like not that's it, but that's the only thing I keep bringing up about this. But that's the thing that really sticks out to me. I kind of agree with Trump. It definitely seems like it could have been avoidable from the helicopter's point of view. And I just wonder how come this doesn't happen more often. Or maybe it does, but I sure don't hear about it. Especially two like this back to back. And then I kind of do want to hear what they have to say about the drones, and just talk about how come they're not colliding with anything. You know what I mean? Especially because you don't have to have, well, I'm ignorant to this, but I don't think you have to have any kind of a license or anything to like fly a drone, to my knowledge. Let's see. Oh, you do need a license. If it's for commercial or government, but you don't need a license for recreational use, but you must pass a FAA's recreational UAS safety test. Trust. You can fly under the exception for limited Damn, I really can't talk tonight. You can fly under the exemption for limited recreational operations if your drone weighs a half pound or less. You must register all drones except those that weigh under, basically just over a half pound, 0.55 pounds. Huh.
Well, moments ago, President Trump signing an executive order and a memo. Here's the video of that. Watch.
Good. I'd ask Will to explain the first, but really more importantly, explain the second, and we'll start signing. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. Just 2 items for your signature today. The first is the formal commission appointing Chris Rochelot to be the Deputy Administrator of the Federal Aviation Administration.
Right.
And since the commissioner position since the administrator position is currently vacant, he will act as the administrator since he's now been appointed deputy.
And he's a very capable guy.
Extremely experienced in aviation and highly regarded in the industry and in government.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Second, for your signature, we have a presidential memorandum titled Immediate Assessment of Aviation Safety. In light of the damage done to aviation safety by the Biden administration's DEI and woke policies, what this presidential memorandum orders is for your Secretary of Transportation and FAA Administrator, in this case, acting FAA Administrator, to basically ensure that we are actively undoing all of that damage, that we are assessing how much damage was done, and that we're ensuring that people hired within the FAA, in keeping with your memorandum of January 21st, are only the most outstanding, capable people for the jobs that they're being hired into.
In other words, competence.
Yes, sir. Elevating competence over everything else instead of the DEI policies that were pursued by the Biden administration.
I think everyone understands that.
Go back. I was checking something out on my phone.
Of January 21st are only the most outstanding, capable people for the jobs that they're being hired into.
In other words, competence.
Yes, sir. Elevating competence over everything else instead of the DEI policies that were pursued by the Biden administration.
I think everyone understands that. And Obama.
Yes.
Both of them.
Oh, there's the guy in the substance. Yes. I almost need to know that guy's name. He's a little pet.
Okay, but Biden much worse. Not even a contest. What they've done is just crazy in so many other ways. Okay?
Mr. President, to be clear, are you saying race or gender played a role in this tragedy?
It may have. I don't know. Incompetence.
Oh, this is just like, I don't even know.
Might have played a role. We'll let you know that. But we want the most competent people. We don't care what race they are. We want the most competent people, especially in those positions. And you're talking about extremely complex things. And
I agree. I don't give a fuck who it is down there. Pay them every dollar. If I'm flying in a plane, I want the smartest motherfucker. I want someone who would just make me look like a fool. Make me look like a just toad. I want someone that makes me look like a retard. I want them if I'm flying in a plane. No joke, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. I don't care who they are.
Have a great brain, a great power of the brain. They're not going to be very good at what they do, and bad things will happen.
I don't care if it's retribution in that tower, as long as, some big old fat man or woman of any race. I don't care who it is. I don't care if they're ugly as shit, fat as shit. I don't care who it is. That's why Trump resonates with when he says shit like this. And it's like, we all just want the smartest motherfucker.
There's long been concerns
When it comes to shit like this, come on now.
about the amount of congestion out of DC airport. Do you think that there's too many flights coming out of that airport?
No, I think we need very smart people running.
But how can he think this is the solution? Like the next day, he's like, oh, this is the solution. No diversity, equity. It's like, okay, maybe, but like what actually fucking happened with this case? How about you solve that? Instead of always just blaming the other thing, which can get people like racially charged. So does it seem good? Yeah, but it's like you're only focusing on one small side that could have possibly affected. Like, you're only focusing on the race thing is like weird. Why don't you, like, that's good that you're making sure that it doesn't matter what race or nothing you are. Like, there's no diversity, equity, inclusion. It's just like best person for the job gets it. Great. But let's find out what the fuck actually happened in this case and not just keep going back to the diversity, equity, inclusion. Because, like, if you just did the one thing on it and let it go, but the fact that you keep harping on it is making you seem a little racist, to be honest. Like, get away from that and give us, like, some other, like, what actually happened with this thing that could have been. How about you make some more rules and tighter restrictions on the Army, and when they're flying a helicopter, how they have to be coordinating with all the airports in the area, and make a new law regarding that. Don't just keep beating the same drum.
The flights and doing.
What do y'all think about this cute little American flag pin he has on? Is that get it done for y'all?
And, you know, the ones that aren't good, when they'll either do one of two things: they'll have too many coming in and they can't handle it, or they'll have the people waiting up in the air, which everyone's been caught in that situation, and circling the airports for an hour, and that's no good either.
Mr. President, are you aware?
Military helicopter training flights that are flying around National Airport all the time, what's your view? Should they be rolled back?
It's fine if they're in the right locations and if they're not at the same levels. I mean, if a plane coming in is at 300 feet or 400 feet and a helicopter's training at 300 or 400 feet, why wouldn't they be up 500 feet higher? So I certainly want, and that to a certain extent is the air traffic controller. Wait, please, wait just a second.
You feel like what happened last night was preventable?
I do, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And
well, how could you not say it was preventable?
Obviously, that was something that should not have happened. And we're not going to let it happen again. Yes, please.
That is exactly, now, you know, if you know the channel and you know me, you know I don't like either side of politics. I love to talk about it and discuss it and try to prove how it's all garbage, which should be obvious to, you know, that's a whole other thing. That really is a whole other thing. What makes it obvious that it's garbage? And there could be an argument that it's not, but I would love to have that argument. Anyway, damn, I was doing the weave and I forgot what I was going to say. But what Trump just said really...
I do, yeah.
Oh, that's what I want to hear from my president, regardless of who you support, and I don't support either side. That's what I was going off about. But that's what I would, like, in theory, if you believe all politics and all this shit, that's what I would want to hear from my president. It was preventable. We're not going to let it happen again. Of course it was preventable. This doesn't happen that often, to my knowledge. And I know plane crashes do happen, and we don't hear about it on the news as often as it does happen, maybe. But yeah, you want to hear that from the president. This was preventable, and we're gonna do everything in our power from not letting it happen again. And I'm sure Biden would say the same thing. So, you know, but whatever.
Absolutely. And
but the way he says it so confidently is what you want from the leader, you know?
Obviously, that was something that should not have happened. And we're not going to let it happen again. Yes, please.
Mr. President, on a slightly different subject, on your Canada and Mexico tariffs, will oil be included or excluded from those tariffs?
So we'll be announcing the tariffs on Canada and Mexico for a number of reasons. Number one is the people that have poured into our country so horribly and so much. Number two are the drugs, fentanyl, and everything else that have come into the country. And number three are the massive subsidies that we're giving to Canada and to Mexico in the form of deficits. And I'll be putting the tariff of 25% on Canada and separately 25% on Mexico. And we will really have to do that because we have very big deficits with those countries. Those tariffs may or may not rise with time.
Will oil be part of that? No, because we get oil from Canada.
Oil is going to have nothing to do with it as far as I'm concerned. Oil has nothing to do with it.
Mr. President, you said in confidence. Guantanamo Bay, you want 30,000 new beds there. Is there a possibility that will increase? Was 30,000?
It could increase, yes.
What would be the maximum?
It depends, but countries that won't take back their criminals that they sent into us, you know, they sent them to us. They put them into the caravans and they came in. As sure as you're standing there, they were sent by those countries. Then they're going to be met very harshly with sanctions, etc.
And when are you hoping to have Guantanamo Bay, this new facility, up and running?
It'll be up pretty quickly.
How much do you think it's going to cost?
Not very much. A lot of the structure is already there, as you know.
Mr. President, you said that incompetence may have played a role. Are you aware of any performance issues or disciplinary actions that were taken against anyone who was working the tower last night or flying the plane?
No, and I hope that's not the case in this case, but certainly over the years it's been the case. And it's the case with respect to close calls, and it's the case with respect to circling for hours on end. You know, planes circle a lot, and they circle because the people bringing them down, these people that have to be very, very smart, and it's not based on anything other than the brain. We need the smartest people. We need both psychologically smart and just brilliant, period. And we are going to have them in our control towers. We are going to have the most competent people in the country in our control towers, not people that are there for any other reason.
Sir, you said that you envision sending the 80-something thousand IRS agents hired under Biden to the border. What role do you see them playing?
Well, we'll see. I mean, I may do that, or I may use different people, but we're going to send more. We're going to give the Border Patrol some help. Although now, if you look, they've taken in the lowest number since my administration. The numbers are very low. And at that level, we don't need so much help. People know not to come, because if they come, they're not going to make it in, and they're going to be shipped out.
Egypt's president
I wish I could get a little bit more about
and
that.
the King of Jordan have both said that they won't take in displaced people from Gaza like you suggested. Is there anything you can do to make them do that? I mean, tariffs against those countries, for example?
They will do it. They will do it.
What makes you say that?
They're going to do it.
They will do it. They will do it. What makes you say that? They're going to do it.
Okay? We do a lot for them, and they're going to do it.
Mr. President, you've offered over 2 million federal workers the option to resign immediately. Right. There are 50,000 FAA employees. Does this tragedy give you reason to reconsider that option of resignations because of concerns about staffing issues on airline safety?
If people aren't coming to work, if they're not going to come into the office and report as per the date that you know what it is, everybody knows what the date is, it's been very well documented, then they're going to be terminated.
You're not concerned, though, that if many people take that offer, there could be shortages that could lead to
then they'll
safety
be
issues?
replaced with very competent people. We have a lot of competent people in this country.
Have you spoken to any of the families of the victims of the plane crash?
I don't want to comment on that.
Do you have a plan to go visit the site or meet with any of the
I have a
first
plan
responders?
to visit, not the site, because what did you tell me? What's the site? The water?
Or to meet with
Want
the
me to go
first
swimming?
responders down there?
I don't have a plan to do that, but I will be meeting with some people that were very badly hurt with their family member, obviously, but I'll be meeting with some of the families, yeah.
On birthright citizenship, sir, do you believe that there are 5 votes on the Supreme Court that would uphold your position?
On what?
5 votes on the Supreme Court.
What
would
position?
Birthright citizenship.
I think so, yeah. Look, birthright citizenship was, if you look back when this was...
We'll see if that... It's weird which ones go to the Supreme Court and which ones don't, or I'm so ignorant to how that works. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see in the coming weeks and months, maybe, which presidential or executive orders actually get implemented. And, like, the ICE thing, apparently that got implemented right away. But the birthright thing has to wait and see, and some of the other ones have to go before the Supreme Court and other parts of like Congress. I'm assuming. Like I said, I could definitely use a refresher on government and like which, if not all, bills have to go through a process before he can't just sign it and boom, it's there. Like that's what executive orders are. But then there's other stuff like bills and stuff. So I'm wondering like what's the difference between stuff that he signs and it goes into action right away versus stuff that the Supreme Court has a chance to rule on. That sort of thing. But it'll be interesting to see, like I said, in the coming weeks and months, which, if not, some of his policies are already into effect, but the rest of them, which ones fall into effect and which ones are rejected by other parts of the government. So we'll cover it here for sure.
Passed and made. That was meant for the children of slaves. This was not meant for the whole world to come.
All right, he's getting into immigration and other stuff. So I just kind of want to cover the aviation thing tonight. Yeah, we might do this at the end as like a little treat or something. Let's watch the drone thing. I want to see. Thank you for your comment, Soldier of Truth 77. We're gonna just skip ahead to the drone talk.
Media members whose outlets, despite being some of the most viewed news websites in the country, have not been given seats in this room. And before I turn to questions, I do have news directly from the President of the United States that was just shared with me in the Oval Office. From President Trump directly, an update on the New Jersey drones. After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and...
What the fuck is the FAA? Because they were talking about that with the planes, too. Hold up. The FAA. Federal Aviation Administration. That didn't tell me shit, bitch.
Various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time...
Damn, she's fucking up like I was earlier. That enjoy flying drones.
Reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy. A statement from the President of the United States to start this briefing with some...
Boy, she thought she was satisfied with that. That did not satisfy me whatsoever. Opposite of Chick-fil-A, bitch, I am not satisfied. It is not my pleasure. What the fuck is going on? God damn. That's your chicken shit answer, Trump? You fucking lame. Go back. I need the whole thing again.
After research and President of the United States viewed news websites in the country in the Oval Office. From President Trump directly, an update on the New Jersey drones. After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were...
After research and study. Not after coordinating with other parts of the federal government and requesting, whatever kind of lingo they could use after requesting documentation regarding this or requesting a higher level of clearance just to okay the people or whatever mumbo jumbo government bullshit they could have said, but they didn't say we coordinated with another part of the federal government and they told us they were doing this and it was just kind of secret at the time and blah blah blah. They declassified it now or whatever. She's saying after study and research. What?
Authorized to be flown by an update on the New Jersey drones. After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers
after
were
research and study.
Authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were
What were they researching? They weren't researching not how to allow a plane and a helicopter to crash into motherfucking each other. What the fuck were they researching?
So hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to...
Who doesn't enjoy a flying Jones from time to time?
Curiosity. This was not the enemy. A statement from the President of the United States to start this briefing with some news. And with that, I will turn it over to questions. And we will begin with our new media members, Mike Allen from Axios.
Gross. What is this to the right of her? Is this how to apply to be a White House person? Criteria to apply. Produce news-related, I'm guessing it's going to say content or material or whatever. Second point, do not work for a news organization that already has a briefing room seat. Pay for own travel to Washington, D.C. Y'all are broke as fuck. Oh, I don't know why that tickled me so much. I'm not going to watch this whole fucking thing. That was the lamest thing about drones I've ever heard. I wonder if there's any... Yeah, it ends at 8:16. No lie. But watch the entire thing. You won't be disappointed. They said it was authorized flight. Seems weird they couldn't say it before, but there it is. Yeah. There it is. Yeah, it was definitely a close your eyes and believe us statement. Yeah, no lie. Though it's worth watch from stay to finish. Is this a bot? Universe 6 Prince of Saiyans? Though it's worth watch from stay to finish, especially if it's one of your first serious times watching a president be a president. Who the fuck would type that? I don't buy the drone story. If it were that simple, they would have told us already. We would have known months ago. This is a cover up. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, most people are not buying it. Huh. Yeah, everyone's loving and sucking on this press secretary. Yeah, everyone's loving on her, but this is Fox, so go figure. All right, let's move on from that. Let's watch this, see if we can avoid copyright and give our opinion. I have not watched near as much basketball as I would have liked. My team, the Spurs, has been doing not so hot, but with Wimby and they got another bunch of young stars. They're like on the rise. Wimby's fun to watch. I haven't been watching it like near as much as I would like, as I said. I heard a rumor that they might be trading for De'Aaron Fox. So, you know, if you follow trades in the rumor mill, watch out for that. And I guess without damn, I've been off tonight. Without any further ado, let's I guess this is Stephen A. I know I have Shaq, Kenny, and Chuck.
I will say they want.
So I like them a little better. We'll watch Stephen A. real quick, and we probably won't watch all of this. We'll skip around a little bit. He has Brian Windhorst on here too. He's an OG basketball head. So let's see what they got to say.
Time for a quick take. John Moran sat out with right shoulder soreness as the Grizzlies held on to beat the Houston Rockets 120-119. SA, what stood out to you most about this one?
Could y'all do me a favor, please, and take those highlights off? All right, you got me up there. I just want to make sure that I'll see in the public when I say this.
We see you.
I loved this game last night, and I want
He wants to call my shots at all times. Get my face up there. I want the public to see me.
to thank the Grizzlies and the Houston Rockets for giving us the game that they gave us. That was a great game. I watched it from start to finish. That was a dogfight, okay? But I got to tell you this, even without John Moran, who obviously is a flat-out stud and just elevates Memphis, okay? But even though he didn't do that the other night against the New York Knicks at the Garden, I don't know what the hell's going on. Usually stars show up and show out at Madison Square Garden. He did not the other day, but damn it, he's great, so that's an aberration. When you look at the Memphis Grizzlies, obviously they are formidable. We can't doubt that. I got to tell you, Molly, and I can't wait till my man Wendy comes on, I'm loving me the Houston Rockets. They got a fan in me. Now, I'm a huge fan of Ime Udoka because I think he's one of the best coaches in basketball. I think he's one of the best coaches in basketball. This brother is fantastic, okay? But Amen Thompson, I said it before. Wendy, this is a future star in this game. I don't care what anybody says. His demeanor, and then even when they lost the game last night, excuse me using the word, did you see how pissed he looked? It's a regular season game. It's a regular season game before All-Star break, and he looked furious. I'm telling you, this brother's a rough rider. He's a competitor, high-end competitor, only his second year in the league. I love this kid. And that damn Jalen Green, he's going to be a star too. Look, I like what I'm seeing in Houston. Shagun didn't play last night. Just like John Morant didn't play on this side, Shagun didn't play on this side. The Houston Rockets.
Shagun is good too. I don't know if he's a power forward or center. I think power forward, but damn, he is good.
If the Houston Rockets and the Memphis Grizzlies ended up in the in the Western Conference Finals, and I ain't throwing no shade on Oklahoma City because my man SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, my league MVP last year and this year, damn it. I mean, that brother's special. But if these two teams end up in the Western Conference Finals, I think it would be fantastic for the NBA. The Houston Rockets are coming.
They probably won't make it to the Western Conference Finals, but they probably will make it to the second round. And these two teams, I could see that happening.
Let me tell you something. Ime Udoka gonna win a championship. Tell me, Fertitta, Ime Udoka's gonna win you a championship. Them brothers gonna win a championship. I'm telling you right now. Within the next
Damn,
3
what
to
is the
4
Rockets'
years,
record?
they winning a championship, if not sooner. I love what I'm seeing from the Houston Rockets. I love it. Love it.
Okay, y'all get in the chat. It's been a while since we covered some sports on this channel, but I really like basketball. It's my favorite. And who's get in there, get in the chat, and let me know who's y'all's favorite NBA team. Let's see who's. And if you don't really have a favorite team, you don't follow it that closely, get in there and let me know your favorite player. And also, let me know what's your favorite part of All-Star Weekend. Do you like the three-point contest? I think a lot of people really fuck with the dunk contest the most. There's the skills challenge. The three contest is good if there's like two or three of the real top guys in there. It's good. Like if Curry's in there, he's the one to beat, and so it's always a good competition to see who can give him a run for his money. But I would say most people like the dunk contest, and the game just doesn't. If you're like super into basketball, you might like it, but I feel like it used to be more legendary. Now it's just like it's still all the biggest stars, but it just seems like I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it used to be for some reason. I don't know.
And what's Amen and Azur Thompson's birthday was yesterday. I think they turned 21, so maybe 22, but they're very young, and that's the excitement about the Rockets. This team, and look, they've been one of the best clutch teams in the league. They went, I think, 1 of 12 down the stretch of this game. You got to give the Grizzlies credit for winning the game, but that was an aberration. They usually win a game.
Okay, I am way behind. The Rockets and Grizzlies are number 2 and 3 in the West. Wow. We got Thunder number 1, then Rockets, then Grizzlies, then Nuggets, Lakers, Clippers, T-Wolves, Mavericks. Suns in 9, Kings in 10, Warriors in 11, Spurs in 12. Damn. Yeah, I did not know. Damn, the Rockets and Grizzlies are running the West like that. I knew they were on the rise the last couple years, but damn, they have risen. And then we got the Cavs in number 1. Damn. Okay. Celtics 2, Knicks 3, Bucks 4, Pacers 5, Pistons 6, Heat 7, Magic 8. Okay. I was not a surprise with the East, and I used to cover or follow the West a little more closely, but the East didn't surprise me as much. I guess because over the past 5-ish years, it hasn't changed as much as the standings in the West year to year. Okay, interesting.
Like that, and if they had Şengün, maybe they would have. Of course, they didn't have John Morant with Memphis, but what's so exciting about the Rockets is how young they are, and they've got a ton of draft capital that they can use either to draft more players or to make a trade. They and the Thunder are exciting because they can get so much better going into the future.
Mm-hmm. And they're second and third in the West currently.
They're 22. They're 22, Wendy. They just turned 22.
As it stands. Yeah. All right, guys. Okay. Hi, Wendy. Great to have you with us. I'm going to keep it rolling here. Let's get into the 2025 NBA All-Star rosters. They've been set. So after last week's announcement of the 10 starters, Thursday brought us the 14 final selections who will be classified as reserves at All-Star Weekend in San Francisco in February. So, of course, I just want to point out here that the typical structure, a typical starter-reserve structure for All-Star selection is going to be a little different this year. Rather than a traditional 2-team All-Star setup, 4 teams will play on All-Star Sunday. All right, so the All-Star reserves, as I mentioned, announced Thursday. In the East, Damian Lillard, Darius Garland, Jaylen Brown, Cade Cunningham, Tyler Hero, Evan Mobley, Pascal Siakam all earned spots. And out west, Victor Wembanyama, Anthony Davis, James Harden, Jaren Jackson Jr., Alperen Sengun, Jalen Williams, and Anthony Edwards rounding out those reserves. All right, gentlemen. Stephen, I'll start with you here. Do you have any issues with the All-Star Game reserves list?
Yes, they're both out of the Western Conference. What the hell is up with Norman Powell? Why isn't he on this team? They've played 47 games. 38 of them have been played without Kawhi.
Well, hold on. What confused me is they said there's going to be 4 teams playing. I think I had heard that, but then are they going to have the 2 teams play each other, 2 and 2, and then the winner play on the same day? Or are they just going to only have the 2 different games? Or are they going to have 3 games? The round where 2 versus, 2 different teams and 2 different teams play each other, and then the winner play each other in a final? That would be cool. But I don't know if the NBA can do 3 games in one day where 2 of the teams are gonna play twice. That would be fucking crazy and exciting, and that would get me entertained. Okay, a game at 12, a game at 3 or 3:30, and then a game at 7 or 7:30. Now I'm watching all day. Now I'm hooked. Now I want to see who can lead their team, and not just 1 game but 2 games. That would be badass. Let's see if that's what. I almost want to look it up now. Damn, I'm excited about that. That would be something worth watching now. Y'all get in the chat and let me know what y'all think. Let me see what's actually the case. Let's see. New All-Star Game format. For the first time, the NBA All-Star Game will feature a mini tournament with 4 teams and 3 games. 2 teams will meet in one semifinal game, Game 1, and the 2 remaining teams will meet in the other semifinal game, Game 2. Okay, I fuck with that, but is that all on the same day? Dude, I'm loving that. The 3 analysts. Oh, it's going to be inside the NBA TNT that are picking the teams? Hold on. This is real crooked. Each team will have 8 players and be named for a TNT NBA analyst. The 24 NBA All-Star selections will be divided evenly into 3 teams. Wait. Hold on. Each team will have 8 players and be named for a TNT NBA analyst. The 24 NBA All-Star selections will be divided evenly into 3 teams. I thought it said there was going to be 4 teams. With the rosters drafted by TNT's Inside the NBA commentators and honorary team general managers, Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kenny Smith. The 3 analysts will make their respective teams for Team Chuck, Team Shaq, and Team Kenny live on the All-Star draft. Okay. Which will be conducted Thursday, February 6th at 6:30, just before the network's doubleheader, and that is next week. I'm ready to get it started. I'm excited about it. I haven't been watching basketball. This is definitely going to get me into it this year. The 4th team will be the winning team from the championship game of the Rising Stars. The annual showcase of the top 1st and 2nd year NBA players and NBA G League standouts, which will be played February 14th during NBA All-Star 2025. Oh, so okay, well, they're going to draft their teams this Thursday. Okay. But the All-Star weekend's not for another week. I see. Okay. I thought All-Star weekend was next weekend. I was like, hell yeah. So it's in 2 weeks. Okay, TNT analyst and WNBA legend Candace Parker will serve as honorary GM of the Rising Stars champion known as Team Candace. Huh. Okay. Then there's prize money based on. Okay, so, You know, the thing is, I think this is Wemby's like second year in the league, and I don't know if this is true with other players where it's their first or second year, but I think he got selected to be an All-Star. Am I correct? Let's see.
Lillard, Darius Garland, Jaylen Brown, Cade Cunningham, Tyler Hero, Evan Mobley, Pascal Siakam all earned spots. And out west, Victor Wembanyama, Anthony Davis.
Yeah, see, Wemby, where it's his like second year, he should be on the Rising Stars one and then be on that team. But instead, he's on the West All-Star reserves, and it's like he's taking a spot from someone else that could have been there, like Kyrie or who was the other one? Fuck, I forgot the other name that I was talking about. That Melo and Trey, they're in the East, but he definitely took a spot from Kyrie. Well, I guess not, because he's a big. But yeah,
James Harden, Jaren Jackson Jr., Alperen Sengun, Jalen Williams, and Anthony Edwards rounding out those reserves. All right, gentlemen. Stephen, I'll start with you here. Do you have any issues with the All-Star Game reserves list?
Yes, they're both out of the Western Conference. What the hell is up with Norman Powell? Why isn't he on this team? They played 47 games. 38 of them have been played without Kawhi Leonard. And they are 27 and 20, if I remember correctly. This brother's averaging 24 a game. He shoots 43% from three-point range. He is flat-out balling, and he has been a reserve for the vast majority of his career. All this brother Norman Powell does is show up to work. All he does is show up to work consistently. Throughout the years, he's been a reliable force off the bench. But now that he's been asked to give you more, he's giving more. Now, James Harden has been fantastic. Very proud of that brother, the way that he's been looking. And James Harden, as far as I'm concerned, has resurrected himself and reminded us of who the hell he is. Okay, and he's been a leader, by the way, and always reliable because, you look at Boston and Brooklyn, Brooklyn and Philadelphia and all this stuff, and Houston and him wanting his way out there. But for the most part, the brother shows up to work throughout his career, okay? And he's showing what he can do. But Norman Powell, talk about an opportunity to show appreciation for a brother that shows up and does his job with no acclaim, no notoriety whatsoever. It's time he gets it. He gonna get it right now on first take. He should have been on this All-Star game, okay? Another person that we need to mention is Kyrie.
That's the name I heard. Well, yeah, but Kyrie's badass.
And this brother's been averaging about 20-25 games. Kyrie Irving is a showstopper. If ever there was a person that was made for All-Star Weekend, it's Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie Irving is a showstopper.
Okay, we can't. And Luka's
His handles are like top notch.
And so we gotta look at what Kyrie Irving brings to the table, okay, and understand his greatness.
What place did I say the Mavericks were in? Let's see. Go back. NBA standings. Mavs are in 8th, 26 and 23. See. Ooh. Man, the East and the West are a little closer than they used to be, but the West is still just a little bit more competitive. Why has that always been the case? Not much. It's way more even than it used to be. And the top team in the West has 37 wins, and the Cavaliers have 39. Okay, so it's pretty damn competitive compared to how it used to be. The West used to really dominate the East, but that's interesting.
So those two names really jumped out at me. Outside of that, I know people are making noise about LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball, my brother.
Yeah, LaMelo Ball should be in the All-Star game now.
Let me say this to you. You're a terrific player, terrific talent, averaging 28 a game. You shoot 42% from the field. Shoot 33% from three-point range. That's volume shooting right there. Last but not least, and not to say you don't have mad skills, because you do, and you're a showstopper yourself. But your team, I don't want to hear arguments about a team that's 12 or 32. I know it's individual acclaim. I get that. But 20 games under 500? I don't want to hear about all-star. It would have been nice if he made it. But I'm not going to make a case to support it. That's not what we saying about Dallas, and it damn sure ain't what we saying about the Clippers with Kyrie Irving and Norman Powell, respectively. That's the difference, LaMelo. You're great. You're going to be even greater. It's great to see you back on the court. It's great. But we need your team to win a little bit more.
Yeah, the Hornets have always been sorry. Ever since I've been watching the league, 20 years, they've been sorry.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, Molly, the LaMelo thing is interesting because what Stephen A. said is correct.
They used to be the Bobcats, right? Oh, they always sucked.
And he's been a volume scorer. He leads the league in shots. And he's up there in points, but he leads the league in shots. The thing that's interesting here is that he was the #1 vote getter among all guards in the Eastern Conference. The fans very clearly want to see LaMelo on All-Star Weekend. However, the players voted him third, which they thought, I guess, he should be on the team, but the players did not put him as a starter. The media had him way back in 7th. Yeah. I didn't have him as one of my 2 starters. I would have had him on my team. And the coaches who vote for the All-Star reserves didn't have him on here, and so kind of the players, the coaches, and the media all are agreeing with Stephen A. I am a little bit sympathetic, though, that All-Star Weekend has been so bad for the last few years.
Right.
And so convoluted what they're trying to do to try to draw eyeballs. Yep. This is, Stephen A., this is the first time they've used this system for about 8 or 10 years now, where there's sort of the 3-prong effect. It's really to invalidate the idea that somebody can get a bunch of votes. Like Zaza Pachulia, for example, was almost voted in one year, and so they did this sort of check and balance. But this is the first time a leading vote getter in his position hasn't made it. I think it definitely verifies LaMelo is a polarizing player, but I don't know if it's the best thing for the game. And I will say this, the Hornets are terrible.
YouTube blocked out my stream because I'm just playing too much of this without commentating. But I haven't seen it. Let me see if I can get them off my balls. See if they'll put the stream back up. Yeah, what do y'all think about NBA All-Stars switching up their format? And I'm excited. Let me go check real quick while I'm seeing if they'll put me back up. I still want to know if hold on. I still want to know. I want to know what the date is for are they all on the same day? It's not telling me. Let me see. Damn it. Did YouTube straight just take down my stream? Let me see. They were hating that. I was just letting it ride. It says suspended. I'm hoping they'll put it back up. Still live on Rumble. Still live on Kick, I believe. Yeah. Come on, YouTube. Stop hating. We'll give it a few seconds, and then maybe I guess I'll just keep going on Rumble and Kick. Fuck it. Anyway, let's see how the format's going to be real quick. Nope. This is old. Man. Oh, okay. All-Star games in Oakland this year. The 3 games will end when a team reaches a score of 40 points. Damn. So they are going to be played in the same day. Let's see. Huh. Yeah, I think they're gonna all three be played on the same day. 40 points though. I want a full damn game. I don't want 40 points. YouTube, okay, they put my stream back up. Yeah, they were hating on I was just letting it ride too much on that video. But anyway. Let's see if they let's see if I can I think I was pretty much done with it. Let's see. Let's get to the end of Wendy's opinion, and then we'll move on to the next thing.
They are 1-12 when he does not play. They are 11-20 when he does.
Shooting, considering
Honor and hand it to Norman if he could. And I will also.
All right, I'm over it. Let's see what the TNT guys have to say.
One thing, I'm a little surprised on the Trae Young thing.
So am I.
Yeah, well, that's what I just wrote here.
I'm a little surprised on that.
I mean,
But I'm not trying to rain on it. Like, first of all, everybody deserves to make it. But I'm a little shocked Trae Young didn't make the because he's played
really good.
Probably, in my opinion, his best year.
23-11 leads the league.
I feel like in the past they ragged on him for trying to be too much like Steph Curry and firing up too many threes. But anyway, he could be better this year. They could change their opinion.
6th in the league in scoring.
Somebody, those are three names that definitely deserve it.
I haven't watched basketball near as much this year as I've been saying. But who's someone, if you have been watching, that you think should have made it that didn't?
The other team, but this way the cookie crumbles sometime, Ernie.
That's all you got, you big oaf.
Should be
Norman Powell.
Yeah.
And Kenny, one thing we always agree on.
Same thing Stephen A. said.
I'm glad they made it up, brought in the media and the coaches when you're picking people.
Well, players, fans, and media.
Yes. But a guy like this, who's been a really good player in this league for a long time, he's having a career year. He's been the second best player.
Yeah, he didn't get in. What do you have to say about that?
For a team.
I would painfully say I would have to agree with Chuck. He's playing excellent basketball, and guys like that should be rewarded. And whether he makes it or not, he's definitely an all-star in my eyes. But playing great basketball.
1-4. He leads the league in rebounding. He's second in three-point percentage. He leads the league in double-doubles with 42.
Who?
Surprised that we didn't hear Domantas Sabonis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
I think they started so slow, Ernie. That might have hurt his chances.
But he's been
possibly. Look, 21-4. He leads the league in rebounding. He's second in three-point percentage. He leads the league in double-doubles with 42.
Huh. Yeah, Sabonis can ball.
Yes. Jalen Green's having a fabulous year.
Unbelievable.
Bro, Kenny got one of the best hairlines I've seen in a minute. That's got to be some whatever they call it, planting like Myron.
I had Kyrie on my list, dude. He's
having a year.
Yeah, Kyrie. Because Luka's been out.
Yeah, and Kyrie, similar names. Kyrie definitely should have made it. I don't know if they mentioned LaMelo. I kind of skipped around. I didn't want my stream to get suspended potentially again. Let me make sure they didn't. No, I think we're good. Let's see. My bad. Let me get back to y'all. Okay. Yeah, let me know what y'all think. Are y'all excited about the All-Star game change? I am, but I wish they would just play a full game. I don't want to see this 40-point bullshit. It's like they have a good idea, but they're cheaping out on it. It's like, dude, that's why the fucking everything sucks nowadays. It's half-assed, it's sped up, it's not well thought out, not well planned out, or just it is well thought out and planned out to give us a fucking cheap-ass, not as good product. It's like, dude, the 2 games and the championship and all that sounds badass, and then you fuck it. Fuck having the first and second year players in there as part of a team. Just draft that many more all-stars so people like Sabonis and Kyrie and LaMelo can get in, and we can have a full 8-man squad, 4 teams, 32 all-stars, and fucking face off in full games, and let's get it the fuck on. This shit is chicken shit. That's just my opinion. Maybe it'll be better than it used to be, but I still just think they're falling short of what it could be. Let's see. We can a little bit of Trae Young reacting. Oh, this is more TNT. Let's see.
Jarrett didn't make it.
Yes, just because of our record, especially with our historic start. You know, I thought it could turn that way.
You found out pregame you weren't an all-star. What was your reaction at the time? What's your reaction now as you process it?
I mean, top 24 players, best players in the league are supposed to go there, and they're not getting the top 24 best players. They're missing one. So I was an all-star before tonight. I'm going to be an all-star the rest of my life. So regardless if I'm an all-star in the Bay.
And Trae Young continued with this on social, and it's no longer getting snubbed, it's getting trade at this point. Sorry to my fans, it'll change eventually. All right, talk soon. That would have been his 4th All-Star selection. He's never made it in back-to-back years.
Whoa. But he has been a 4-time All-Star, so that's saying something. And he hasn't made it back-to-back years, and he's never fell off. So it's like, when you hear that stat, it just kind of shows his consistency. It's not like he had a good year, bad year, good year. It's like he's been consistent. They just, some years he gets overlooked. There's better players than him maybe, but Trae Young's been a pretty good player for a minute now, what that tells me. All right. How long we been going? 2 hours? Let's see. You know what? I might watch this and pick out some of the best moments because I don't know if we want to watch this for 30 minutes. Yeah, maybe I'll save this for tomorrow or another stream. Think I'm good for tonight. It's getting kind of late. I'm kind of tired. So be a good place to end it off. Y'all let me know what y'all thought. In the beginning, we talked about the plane crashes, the whole runway 33, 67 passengers, which if just one would have survived, it would have been 66 deaths, and that would have been real creepy. What else? All the drones have been up in New Jersey, and I don't really have a good grasp on how crazy it was because I don't live up there, obviously, but it's like all these drones, and none of them crash into each other, none of them crash into a plane, and then Trump's been in office just over a week, and we have 2 plane crashes within 48 hours of each other. Because I think one happened on the night of the 29th, and then on the 30th, he passed legislation, and then today there's another plane crash in Philly. So that's just a little weird. It's a big coincidence, like we said earlier. And, yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't really pass the smell test. I don't have a theory right now or anything like that, but it's just like, damn, that's just a little, if it is a coincidence, it's a little jarring. And it's like, damn, our country's this unsafe. Like, what the fuck? This kind of stuff really doesn't happen that often for it to happen back to back. And it almost makes me think like, well, I guess Trump has been signing a lot of DEI stuff either way, but it's like, I would have liked for him, if he's going to sign some legislation to change something like that, have it a little more well thought out and like have other safety measures in there, not just, yeah, we're going to hire the most competent people. Okay, well, I'm pretty sure the person in there wasn't some Joe Schmo dumbass. He probably was pretty competent. How about putting some extra safety measures or getting some new, better technology or something of that effect to make it safer? Not just saying we're going to hire the smartest. Okay, I'm sure the guy in there was no dumbass, and I agree, but it's like, I would like for you to get away from the DEI stuff. I feel like you're just playing the same tune. So anyway, that's my kind of thoughts on that right now. And what do y'all think? 2 planes crashing within 48 hours. Coincidence? No coincidence? Conspiracy? No. What do y'all think? What are y'all's thoughts on it? Maybe if more comes to light, we'll cover it again. That's a big popular thing these days. You have something on the news, even if it's on the news for 3 weeks, it's on the news, and then once they stop talking about it, you almost never hear about it followed up. Some things you do, but the majority of things you don't. So, I guess if this story continues to unfold and we get more details, we'll cover it again because that tends to happen. But stories tend to never get brought up after the fact, and you know, followed up on, and we get closure, so to speak. So anyway, um, that's kind of my thoughts on the two planes things and kind of the drones thrown in there a little bit. And then they said about the drones, oh, it was just the FAA approved it and they were doing research. And after our study and research, we found out that it was all okay. And it was some drone enthusiasts. Nothing to worry about. It's like, dude, that was like just terrible. Like I broke down at the time, she could have said, yeah, we got with the FAA and they disclosed to us. It's like, okay, y'all, they just didn't want to shout it out loud earlier because they were doing something. And then when y'all asked for it, they gave you the information. But she made it seem like they had to study it on their own and figure it out. It's like, okay, dude, this is like not how it should sound. And this is not sounding official. And I don't fucking believe you. And no one in the comments believe you. Well, a lot of people were sucking off how like great she was talking and handling it and being a professional, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of people were not buying the part about the drones. And then we kind of covered the NBA stuff a little bit. We kind of, if you were behind like me, I gave you a little bit of update on the way the All-Star game is going to work. They have the All-Stars already picked, but Chuck, Kenny, and Shaq are going to do a draft where they each pick 8 players out of the 24. And then those will be the 3 teams. And then the 4th team will be the winner of the Rising Stars Challenge, which is freshman players versus sophomore players. The winner of that game will be the 4th team. And then 2 of the teams and then 2 of the other teams will play in like a semifinals. And then the winner of each game will play in the final to 40 points. And that'll be the All-Star game format. Kind of interesting. As I said earlier, I feel like it could be better if they had like 4 full teams and just keep the Rising Star guys out of it and just have the 4 full teams play full games, and we would get like, I feel like it would be a lot more entertaining and a lot more captivating. But I feel like they're just giving us a cheap ass, like they tried to make an improvement, but they still just cheaped out on it. It's like, make those motherfuckers play a full game. They can do it. God damn. They're making millions. But anyway, that's my thought on it. Maybe that's why the NBA is bleeding viewers. It's about like Call of Duty. They don't want to do what the people really want, the good quality thing that would bring people back. They want to half-ass and chicken shit it, and then they wonder why everyone's leaving it. It's like, you know what? Maybe it's for the better that people are going to stop watching as much sports and stop playing as much video games, at least in Call of Duty terms. Maybe people just go to other video games or find other ways to waste their time. But it's like, maybe it's a good thing that people are kind of pulling away from technology as much while I'm sitting here on technology. But, maybe there's good in that. So, I don't know. I wish these companies, though, would give us the product that we deserve. But I guess the consumer speaks, and that's why they're losing viewers and gamers in the case of Call of Duty. And, yeah. So, maybe as a consumer, you wish it was a good product, but when it's not, you talk with your wallet or your eyeball, so to speak. And maybe that's a good thing. And anyway, y'all let me know what y'all thought about, the planes crashing. Any opinions or thoughts you have. Agree with me, disagree with me, mainstream, conspiracy, let me know what you think. Also with the drones, same thing goes. And then with the NBA, y'all let me know what y'all think about the All-Star game. When's the last time you watched the All-Star game and actually enjoyed it? And what's your favorite part of All-Star weekend? This channel got started, and I had just been at it for like 3 or 4 months when me and the homie Tyler live stream, I believe it was the slam dunk contest from the All-Star game, which is I think many people's favorite part, and that's what jumped me up to like 12,000 or 1,200 subscribers, which I kind of a gift and a curse. It makes the channel look good with that many subscribers, but also it inflated the numbers, and I feel like I haven't got to watch my channel actually organically grow and gain subscribers. So it's a gift and a curse, and if I could take it back, I probably would. But anyway, that's part of this channel story now. And with that being said, the part that I enjoy the most, and I think most people do, is the dunk contest. And it's kind of entertaining how they have the skills challenge and then the 3-point and then the dunk. It's like a boom, 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 and it's the middle night. It's Saturday night. By Sunday, people might be on to other things or getting ready to start the week again. But Saturday night is when everybody likes to stay up a little late. Friday and Saturday night, watch something, stay in, or if people go out, but what have you, if they go out to a bar, whatever, the game's on. Saturday night's more of the activity night of the weekend, so to speak. So I feel like that's the event that people like the most, especially now. And you let me know what y'all think. What event do y'all enjoy the most? What All-Star night do y'all like the most? And when's the last time you actually enjoyed the All-Star game on Sunday? Yeah, y'all let me know. I appreciate y'all, anyone that tunes into the live stream or the rebroadcast. And y'all get in the chat if y'all are watching, or obviously at this point, get in the comments if you watch the live stream and tell me what you thought. Any suggestions are appreciated. Love, hate, like, comment, subscribe. And I appreciate y'all. Until next time,